Thanos' plan is dumb. We all know this by now. Endgame is the dramatic conclusion of the MCU. Phase 3 of the MCU. Still going. It's still going. I watched Endgame 2 days late because I was camping the day after it came out. But also I don't watch movies on opening day. I was with a scout troop that I didn't really like. I didn't really feel comfortable talking to anyone, and it felt like I didn't know anyone. Scouts is supposed to be fun with a purpose. This felt more like a dictatorship. Anyway, everyone was making Endgame spoiler jokes. It just goes to show how much of a cultural moment this was. Everyone was saying Batman died. Luckily, there was enough lies that I didn't really get spoiled. Then, after a weekend of hype, my dad and my brother went and we saw it in the theater. Probably had to wait a little more. I do distinctly remember being in a nature and art thing at a park, and they were like, kids were talking about it. I don't know. It was annoying. I remember this experience very fondly. I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought it to be a good payoff for the years of build-up. I thought it was so good that a week later I was homesick and decided to rewatch it, and this time it sucked! I watched it again recently though, and it's fine. I was probably just upset about being sick, although I still think that it isn't great. Game is one of those movies where the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. It is a movie that you can truly ruin with spoilers. Let's talk about that. Part 2 spoilers. I was going to ask you to imagine your favorite piece of media. Now, imagine you knew the ending. Would that ruin it? So many movies you go into, you already know the hero will win. It comes from the journey. But the joy comes from the journey. But sometimes, in like a mystery, the destination is extremely important because you don't know how it will end. Not knowing the ending is part of it. But knowing the ending shouldn't ruin a good mystery. In fact, the best mysteries get even better on a second experience because you pick up on the clues that you missed. Can a truly good movie be spoiled? Yes. Avengers Endgame. Endgame isn't written like a mystery, it's written like a big blockbuster, ball-busting, high-stakes, insane action film. The mystery of Endgame comes from us wondering what will happen after Infinity War and who could possibly die. The secret, I don't like the Black Widow death scene. I think it makes way more sense for Jeremy Renner to die. I think that the scene is great and suspenseful on its own, and I think that these characters' dynamic and friendship is truly beautiful, but were they even friends before? Was this payoff set up? The scene relies on a lot of suspense of who will die, and knowing that it's Natasha, I was just left with the overwhelming feeling of, wait, they were friends? It's a skill issue, and I missed this in the other movies. The one perspective I can see is that it's a good parallel to Thanos. Thanos was so dedicated to his goal that he just gave someone that he loved up, while the Avengers fight over who should sacrifice themselves. Part 3, Camp Here and There. Camp Here and There is a horror comedy podcast about a summer camp plagued by the supernatural disasters. I love Camp Here and There, and I highly recommend it. Funny, and sad, and scary, and it gives me all the feelings. The ending of season 1, the only current season of Camp Here and There, reveals a major twist about the main character. This twist is built up so well that upon rewatch, I understood the implications of it more. I understand the setup, the lines had new meanings, and they didn't have before, and it was just making it so funny in a different way, and so sad, and just... Plus, the original jokes and stuff are just still funny. In Avengers Endgame, the tension of the original watch is completely gone. You're just left with a decent action movie. I don't know, it was kind of boring to me. Part 4, Martin Scorsese. Marty is mean. You don't get to define something as more art than something else. I don't love Endgame. I think the criticism of it is extremely valid, but honestly, the closest thing I can think of them as well made as they are, with the actors doing their best, they can under the circumstances is theme parks. Shut up! Somebody worked on that. Somebody spent days of their life making that. Something they thought was beautiful. And you say basically, this isn't cinema. You're just saying this isn't art. And I think his criticism is valid, but he's wording it in a confusing and mean way. Anyway, this video isn't about that. I just thought it was interesting, and I think that hard work and creativity should be admired no matter the circumstances. But, what the hell do I know? I mean, I just want to make it clear. I don't disagree with his arguments. I just think he's being harsh. Part 5, The Plague. Thanos' plan is dumb. My pain point in this video is to explain my conflicting feelings about Avengers Endgame and use it my limited perspective to make my own personal judgment about how I make my own art and hopefully help any onlookers. Thanos is completely unlikable. And that's fine, he's a villain. They try so hard to make you relate to him. He's a guy who wants to commit mass genocide because, his planet died due to a lack of resources. That's a totally normal reaction, way healthier than space therapy. If his reasons made sense, his plan was just really bad. The bubonic plague was, well, a plague. Notably, it killed people in Europe from 1347 to at least 1500. It is estimated to wipe out 1 to 2/3 of the population of Europe, about 30 to 60% overall. It did not result in more resources for everyone. However, it did result in laborers being able to negotiate for better wages. So Thanos' plan could certainly have done something similar. Despite the differences in our modern day, a need for workers means a higher willingness to pay for them in their court. When I first set out to make this video, I just thought I would be taking a connection I noticed and using it to prove Thanos wrong, but I think I accidentally stumbled upon the fact that Thanos would have caused a shift in the economy with a historical precedent that would have been really interesting to see a movie about. But back to proving Thanos wrong. If this happened, important shipments would never be delivered, planes would fall out of the sky. These sorts of things would cause a large impact on the economy. The aftermath of the plague led to prices of traded resources increase dramatically. So higher wages for peasants, but higher prices for importing goods. Basically, there was a lot of inflation. Overall, though, during the aftermath of the plague, the standard for living actually went up. It caused the peasants to revolt, and the economy of Europe was forever changed. That's just Europe. I've been focusing on them because they lost the closest to 50%, but are they really comparable to the entire modern day world? Well, I'm not so sure. Our class system is way different, but the peasants taking advantage of a need for work seems like it could happen. Maybe. I doubt that wages would raise as much as the prices in the modern day. But I'm pretty cynical at times, and I have a limited view of the world. It's just food for thought. Somebody tell Thanos this. Not sure what it did to other planets, but it's very iffy for Earth. Thanos needs to do a lot more research than me, and he clearly doesn't. But yeah, Thanos sucks. I think he's so dumb. Making him out to be this mastermind does not work for plot purposes because his plan is bad. Plan only makes sense if you assume that the other alien planets don't have a system that's similar to Earth, and their design and supply chains aren't what caused what is fair, but the universe, I'm not sure you know, that's me too. It would not be good for Earth. Part 6, conclusion. So what's my conclusion? Endgame isn't fun with a purpose. All 3 times I watched it, I left not taking deep meanings and thoughts with me. Its attempts at emotions work, and are even well done, but they don't have the setup, and feel like they aren't trying to make any statement. They just want you to feel sad because that's what you're supposed to feel at this part of the movie. That's not bad. In fact, I much prefer it over purpose with no fun. But I feel that some of its story elements are not thought out beyond what they're supposed to make you feel. And I think that this is probably what Marty meant when he said they're like roller coasters. Doesn't make them not art or not cinema. What does that even mean? Cinema is just a place to watch movies. Look it up. Overall, the more I think about it, the less good it gets, and because of that, it is held back from being great, even with spoilers. And that was the review. That's all. Do you want a score out of 10? I don't know what that even means. Scores don't make any sense. I don't know. 7? This is my best. 7.5. I actually kind of liked it. I don't know what I just have mixed feelings. I'm making a movie, so that's coming up. Get excited.